Hi and welcome. This is Angela Ambrosia, and today I'm talking again about commitment at the physical level. So, why am I talking about it at the physical level? It sounds a bit formal. And what I'm distinguishing is from the last video where I talked about commitment at the soul level. So I mentioned last time, and I've mentioned before when we looked at
why am I talking about
sexual
it at the physical
attraction.
level? It sounds a bit formal. And what I'm distinguishing is from
Sorry, I'm
the
just
last
getting
video where I
myself
talked about commitment at the soul.
double levels here. So as I'm distinguishing between commitment at the physical level from the soul level, what are we looking at? We're looking at how do we actually see what's actually a priority for us in our physical relationship. The other videos where I talk about this level of the soul, when two soulmates come together, or two people come together, at the level of the soul, there's no real interest in sexual attraction, in your emotional drama. But how do we actually work out what we do with each other in a relationship physically? So, for example, if you're in a committed relationship or you're just beginning to feel like, I really like this person, but I don't know where this is going, how do you actually listen to those cues in your body which tell you, okay, there's something not quite right here, there's something I'm not feeling quite connected to here? So the first thing to do is to look at what's actually coming up in your physical body. I've mentioned in other videos that our sexual hormones are a huge impetus for us to actually get connected to someone at all in the first place. That's why we have these sexual hormones. They actually are there to ensure that we're going to actually connect with the person and make sure that the connection happens. So when you actually get to a point in the relationship where maybe your desires aren't being met, maybe your needs aren't being met, the typical reaction is to think something's wrong with the relationship. Something's wrong with me, something's wrong with my partner, maybe I'm not meant to be with this person. So commitment at the physical level is not so much thinking about what's wrong here, but it's really about committing to what's coming up for you. What is it that you need to ensure that you're going to have in the relationship? How are your needs being met and not being met? So we're going to do a connection exercise again today to actually ask those questions. These are the things to ask when you want a commitment at a physical level and your mind is starting to tell you, well, maybe I shouldn't be in the relationship, maybe I could be doing something else with this relationship. Maybe this relationship is not what I thought it was. Because remember, when we have a commitment, so you say, okay, I'm going to commit to this person. Most of the times when we do that, we don't actually have a very clear definition in relationships of what you're committing to. If you had a job or a company or a contract, it's pretty clear when you get a job what you're committing to. When you have a relationship, they've had traditional vows in certain institutions in different countries and cultures for centuries, right? And you stand up and you say, I commit to this and this and this and this, or you create your own vows in the modern marriage institutions. Some of us get to create those. But if you sit down, a lot of those vows are kind of abstract. And they're not also about the physical elements of what you want from sexual intimacy, what you want in your living space, whether you want kids or not. These are all questions that when you're going through dating, you'll need to start addressing. You'll need to start discovering, okay, how do you feel about this? But in the beginning, when the hormones come and when you just like the person or you're enjoying yourself, we're not thinking about these physical details. We're not we're not really wanting to, because we want to be overcome by love. We want to be overcome by that pool of two people coming together. And that literally is those two souls going, okay, you two get on with this, come together, figure out what the two of you came to figure out. So we need that hormonal pull and attraction. So as you get more connected to the person in the relationship, it's going to be natural that you'll start to question the relationship and the commitment. Is this the right relationship? Is this what I want to commit to? And typically, we think in general in the Western world anyway, that men are more commitment phobic. But what you're beginning to see is that women are also starting to go, well, I don't really know if I want this. I don't know if I need to stay in this relationship anymore. We've moved a lot forward, women, in terms of just leaving a relationship. We're actually starting to see women really kind of questioning, is this really the right relationship for me? Why? Because divorce is not a big social stigma anymore, and women are financially independent more, and they also have better support and community. So this is really creating, for both men and women, a bigger question. What do I need to commit to in this relationship? Because really, if the institution of marriage is changing so much, what are we actually committing to when we come into a physical marriage or cohabitation with someone? And I'm going to talk about that in future, how actually a union in love is very different to a union of cohabitation. We've started to define that in legal terms, like the governments of certain countries define a distinction between cohabitating and a religious marriage or a spiritual marriage. But we haven't really discussed that as a culture. We kind of do it when we complain to our friends about, oh, I hate how my partner does this, or I wish they would do that, or why don't they understand this? So as a culture, we don't actually have a real cultural definition, as we are today in this modern culture, of what is love and what is cohabitation. Throughout the centuries, it's been pretty clear. When you get married, it's a marriage of families. Maybe you live with your in-laws, maybe you give some land to somebody, maybe who pays for the wedding, that sort of thing. That's been pretty clear. We're moving into a stage of commitment where we're throwing that up in the air and questioning everything. So today we're just going to practice a process of questioning for you to start using when these situations come up, because the first reaction is to go into criticism, blame, I'm not good enough, they're not good enough, the relationship's not working, and freak out. And I'll be very clear with you that my program has been through many of my relationships to leave. Firstly, because I didn't sense that the partner was committed to me. I didn't feel that they were truly choosing me. And this is what most women want. We want someone to choose us. But as you begin an emotional bond with your partner, I can guarantee you that they want you to choose them too, whether they're male, female, or something else. And we're discovering that not everybody is physically male and female anymore these days. As we develop that emotional bond, get so attached to it, and of course the oxytocin chemical comes in, which is the bonding chemical, and we start to think that that is the relationship, that need or attachment. But if you go into a heartfelt space, connect to your higher self, which is what I always recommend when we go into a conflict place of thinking or feeling and over-dramatizing our feelings, and the feelings start to hurt you, you have to ask your higher self now, what am I actually creating and committing to? So when those obstacles come up, the first step is to see that you're in conflict, or that you're starting to be ripped apart, either emotionally, your emotions are going around and around, your body is going to feel You'll maybe push your partner away. You might actually physically separate from each other. They might spend more time at work. This stuff, all the physical things of separation, very unconscious behaviour. You could call your partner on it, but is that going to change their behaviour? I don't know. I don't guarantee it. Talking about it is the first step. What is more powerful is to go inside, because you also might have some destructive thoughts that really need you to just pay attention to them. So then you can actually sigh and go in and go, okay, there's parts of myself here that are really based on fear. And that's okay. Most of what I share with you in the I Love Mondays videos is that fear is a natural part of being human, and that all we need to do is develop a relationship with seeing the fear, watching the fear. And I call that the higher self. You can call it anything you want. We just need to create a relationship. So it's easier to create a third party. I call it the higher self or the divine. I would welcome you to call and create that third party part of you. You can call it the prefrontal cortex. You can call it something scientific. You can call it something like a person you're close to, or a different persona. So noticing when you're in conflict is sometimes the hardest step, especially when, say, you're living with someone, or you've had an emotional bond and you feel like this, and then it's the whole earth is starting to shift or change underneath your very feet, because those partnerships where you live together or bond in emotionally strong ways become a form of home, form of sanctity and sacredness, and something that comes in a place that you can really relax and give yourself to, or let those walls down. So when the conflict comes, that's the first step. That's the step of just being alert to it. And it can be the hardest. So I welcome you to simply just review over the last 6 months what has been those constant points that have come up of conflict, or those repetitive arguments you might have had with your partner or a certain loved one, or perhaps even just voices that you keep noticing coming up to really say, hey, this isn't working. Doubts, insecurities, hesitations, things that come up constantly as those voices. There's not a problem if they come up, and I really, really want to today, with our energy connection to ourselves, really create a space where there is no problem to have that conflict. So we're going to focus on both the back of the heart and the front of the heart right now. Close your eyes and really begin to feel all of that central chest area where we tend to hold a lot of energy around our heart, our lungs, our breathing, even where we digest and swallow food. So feel into the front part of the chest. I'm even asking for some sensations around those bronchial tubes which come into the front part of the body here behind the thymus area. Just notice those two tubes. It's like, you go down one tube to one lung and one tube to the other. So many parts of our bodies show us that there's two parts or two sides to ourselves. And sometimes in our conflict thinking, that's also a reflection that we have a dual nature. There's two aspects to ourselves. And we do like choice. We have free will. We want to be able to feel freedom in our bodies, in our ability to choose and create. So notice how those two tubes there can be coming into the body from that digestive tube and this esophagus, coming into two pathways that sit behind that sternum area and thymus area. And notice also that those two tubes flower up kind of like a V shape. So as you breathe, you're also opening up to those two possibilities there. And you're also feeling into the two different sides of yourself, the right side and the left. So you may even place one hand on the right chest and lung and one hand on the left chest and lung. And as you breathe, just play with feeling those two sides of yourself. So if it's comfortable, keep the hands on the front lungs. And now bring your awareness with the breath to the back of the lungs and the back of the heart. So your heart, your physical heart, sits off to your left, and then the energy point, the heart chakra, is right in the middle of your hands. And it extends into the back of the shoulder blades. So your shoulder blades right now are on the back side of the hands. And they're coming in to support the hands as well. So you're actually starting to feel front and back body coming in to lift with the breath and relax into the body. So right now you've kind of got these bulwarks of support from your hands and your shoulder blades all around the heart chakra. If you want, you can use the back of the chair and lean into the shoulder blades. Just find what is a good way for you to access all points, the front and back body. And then open up the armpits a little so you can feel that extension around the sides of the heart chakra under the arms. So it's like you're actually creating a wheel of energy around your heart. And within this wheel in the center, we're using the golden light. So this golden light is your connection to your higher intelligence, your divine intelligence, higher self. Insert the word of your choice. So feel in the center of that wheel around your heart a golden light coming in to radiate, connect you to that higher intelligence. And as you breathe, you can feel the golden light expanding. And as you exhale, the golden light actually radiates out to fill the room that you're in. So take a few breaths in, feeling the golden light expanding. It can expand as large as you desire. And with the out breath, it simply radiates out into your world. And then we're going to connect to a point 3 feet above your head. So I like this point as a universal connection point. It connects you to your higher self, which actually knows the purpose of your relationship. So feel that point 3 feet above your head. And you can see a light there as well. You can use the golden light now. With the golden light of divine intelligence, we're going to make a line all the way down into that heart center. If at any time the hands are not comfortable, just let them relax, knowing that you still have that connection to that wheel of energy around the heart. So feel that connection from your highest intelligence and highest self down with a line of energy all the way into your heart. And whatever concerns you may have about this commitment in the physical world, ask for those worries and doubts to be actually filled with that golden light right now. So if you have any feelings or sensations in the body, thoughts, ask for them to be filled with the golden light now. So as you breathe into the heart, connect to the purpose of this relationship. Feel that purpose of why you came to meet this person. Don't try to understand the purpose, but rather just feel the purpose. You may get an image or a sensation, you may get words, but this isn't a time to question, just to feel the purpose of the relationship. If you have made a physical commitment or marriage vow or other vow to the person, feel the purpose of that commitment now. And now we're going to ask some questions, just to ask what needs or desires are met by this commitment. What needs or desires are met by this commitment? And then ask what needs or desires are not being met by this commitment. What needs or desires are not being met by this commitment? Sit with any feelings that may be coming up for you about the needs and desires that you deeply, deeply want to experience or you're not experiencing. And simply understand we have a dual nature, two parts. So anytime you have a desire, we also bring up any concerns, programs, or experiences of not getting that desire, or of problems that we've experienced in attempting to get that desire fulfilled. So just see anything that's coming up for you. And we're going to finish by again connecting to that deep desire within that center, that heart center, to fulfill and finish what you came to experience in this relationship. So feel in the center of your heart now, what do you desire to fulfill and finish in the relationship? This isn't a question so much as a feeling of what you came to experience and fulfill in this relationship. Feel it. You may even visualize yourself with your loved one, fulfilling all that you wish to fulfill with them. And now just taking some deep breaths all the way from the top of your body all the way down to the feet. You still have the hands over those two parts of the chest. Feel how you're also gently nurturing that center just by holding and embracing that part of yourself, the two parts that become one in the center. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. It's important, when you can, take some notes about what you deeply desire to fulfill with the person. When we commit to a physical relationship, it's very easy to get distracted from what you deeply desire and what your soul came to experience. So if you can, take some notes now about what you saw, felt, and experienced when you connected to that deep connection of what you desired to fulfill. Thank you. I'm Ambrosia, and you can call me for your free relationship miracle call, 347-985-9979, and learn about what I can have as a program for you in order to deepen that spiritual connection to your loved ones, because it's truly that love that is accessible to you and what we're all growing and trying to evolve in our relationships with those that we love. Have a blessed week, and God bless.